Okay.
Pressing start. You can't talk over the intro, Anthony.
What even is that word?
Yeah. What were you saying, Anthony?
Nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw you go.
Nothing is happening.
You guys, I'm so happy to be back from traveling. It's only because I wanted to hang out with you guys.
We're glad to have you back, Stephanie. Well, I will tell you, I'm a little bit pissed off.
Oh.
These are my backup glasses. Somebody stole my glasses, and I've got a message for those people who stole my glasses out there. I'm going to find you. I have contacts.
Jesus.
How did that make the list of dad jokes for you, Chris?
No, it's not.
You both laughed out loud. That was pretty good.
That was laughing at the joke, not with the joke.
Credit is due, Anthony. That was a good dad joke.
I want to know, though, if you guys really missed me when I was gone.
So much, Stephanie. So much.
Because like the travel part was exhausting, and all I could do was think about being on the show and how much I enjoyed it. But I was reading a book, like to get through the flight, and it was all about anti-gravity, and I just could not put it down. Before we allow Anthony,
right, Anthony, I know you got one. Let's just get it out there. Let's get this.
Well, I was thinking you lost your glasses, and that's happened to me, and I've always imagined, like, if I completely lost my glasses and became blind, I think the scariest thing to read when you're blind is "Do Not Touch" in Braille.
And he's not. he left. Was that the mic drop? That is such a
no. Stephanie put me off. So
you should.
Time out.
I wasn't going to say it, but you prompted it.
Okay, listen. We've all been founders, right? We've all been founders. When did paying yourself comfortably become more dangerous than missing payroll? Shocking stat, according to the Corporate Executive Board's research published in Harvard Business Review, 73% of mid-sized companies plateau within 3 years of achieving profitability. Rick Perot, founder of Unbounce, discovered this when his marketing platform hit 20 million in revenue and innovation flatlined. He instituted disruption sprints where teams pitched ideas to cannibalize their own product, reigniting growth by weaponizing internal paranoia. Today on How to Founder, we will be talking about staying hungry at mid-size. I'm your host, Stephanie Hayes, and with me today are my mediocre co-hosts, Chris Franks and Anthony Franco. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We don't have a guest, just the three of us diving deep into why comfort kills mid-sized businesses and what to do about it. All right, I want to hear your stories. Why does hitting profitability often mark the beginning of stagnation rather than the start of exponential growth? So where have you seen this happen and why? Anthony,
I wish I could answer the question. I'm just not sure about the word that you use. What's this word, profitability?
Right?
Don't understand the word.
It's this.
I'm wondering if we've hit it with How to Founder. I think we've stagnated a little bit because of our success.
And our profitability.
So yes, this is the common. How many stories have we heard where a founder crushes it in his first business and then squanders it in his second or third?
Or hits and then squanders in the same business, right?
That definitely has happened too. So when does my pastor actually said this in church like 5 years ago, and it has stuck with me ever since. And he said, success and comfort are not compatible. And that hit me like a rock. It really has sat with me. And it is something that I say all the time now. So as an entrepreneur, Chris, I know we've had this conversation multiple times where the only time that I feel scared is when I feel comfortable. That's when I feel really uncomfortable. Chris, is that still the same way for you?
That's why you sit on a metal chair when you're doing this podcast, is because, comfort. It's just,
with a tack on it. Yes.
With a tack on it.
That's not a tack.
And Stephanie's back, everybody.
So here's my experience is that like my comfort level constantly changes, right? And so, which, in some ways I thought was a good thing, because when I'm comfortable at, this level, then I break that and I want my comfort level to be at another level. And then by the time I get there, I break that again. But I do think that there's like, if for anyone who has experienced being a startup or being in a startup, the energy and the drive and it's almost like everybody's working towards something, and that's the goal. And then they get there and they're like, great, we've gotten here. And that energy just kind of goes like, so I think the goal is to watch energy and to watch enthusiasm and to watch the goals, because when we stay stuck to a goal that we set when we were first starting out, we feel like we accomplished something, then all of a sudden we watch our market sort of softening, right?
I so much want to call bullshit on the premise here, but before I can absolutely really kind of rip apart the premise, I think that there's two things we have to do, which is the first one is, what do we mean by success as a founder? Because kind of implied in there is that you have enough money to feed your family or make payroll or pay your house payment or car payment or something like that. I mean, so that's my question back to y'all is, can we start by defining what we mean by success? Because if it's $1 billion, it's a stupid measure of success. The vast majority of founders don't get stupidly rich. We do the work because we love the work. It's not this destination where suddenly you're going to walk away with an island, unless your last name is Zuckerberg and he owns, but other people live on Kauai. He just owns like half of it. And so that would be my first question is, what does that mean? What does success mean to you, Stephanie, you, Anthony?
Success obviously means like achieving something that you've set out to achieve. And obviously those are moving goalposts. But I think from the founder's perspective, the day that you don't have to lose sleep because you're not going to make payroll, or, you have so much riding on the next close, when you're, and that's sort of like an addictive feeling, because you have spent the last 3 years, 5 years, whatever, in this fight or flight mode. And then all of a sudden you get to this place where things are actually pretty comfortable and you're like, oh, thank God. Right. And you just want to stay there for a little bit. Like, I get it why people get there, but success is a moving goalpost, right? I think in the way that founders think, it's always going to be the next thing.
I was talking to a buddy of mine, another founder buddy of mine earlier this week, and he said something to me that stuck with me as well. He said, most CEOs feel their company is 6 months away from being out of business.
Yeah.
And I think that anxiety is what drives a company forward. And once you lose that anxiety, you can translate that to comfort. You lose the edge that forces you to do the thing that you don't want to do today. Really, this is about doing the things that you're like, if I don't do this, if I don't work on this piece, I won't be here next month. And success is when you lose that feeling. You're like, oh, I've made it. And the moment you get there, you're like, okay, we've made it. We've got it. We've got this. Is the moment that you start delegating the junk that you don't want to do.
Is that success?
I mean, y'all need to get some therapy up in here. And that's you guys are
that
both
sounds like
like
an abusive relationship.
You guys are both
Yes.
like, you know what?
Success
Means not fucking panicking every moment of every day.
Yeah, that's it. So what about being a founder is well balanced and normal? Like, at what point have you been a founder and you're like, oh, this is a normal life that I would recommend to my kids?
I would not, and I don't. However, I'll tell you, thank you guys for asking me my opinion on this. My opinion is success for a founder is getting to do the job. The job is the greatest, worst, most difficult, hardest, most rewarding job in the world. It's terrible. But it's
can we
also
hold hands and have a group hug around that?
No, because it's miserable. It's something where
it's
first
miserable.
Off,
so you're reiterating it. You said success is doing the job, and doing the job is miserable. Right, that's what we're saying. Exactly.
What I'm saying is that I at least would love to believe that the premise of this argument is that when you reach a place of success, when you have a little bit of money and you can pay your car payment, and you can, go on a vacation, Stephanie, that suddenly you become less hungry. And I just don't believe that to be true. I don't believe, Anthony,
it's totally
you sold
true.
Your first 3 companies, right? 3 or 4 companies in a row that you sold.
I've sold 6.
You sold 6, but your first 3 were like, start it, sell it, start it, sell it, start it, sell it, right? You didn't fail until like your 4th or 5th, right?
My 7th, yes.
7th. Oh, that's great. So the point there being is that
and side note, Chris, sorry, really quick. A month before our Amazon sales tanked, this is the absolute truth. A month before, Amazon sales tanked in October, middle of September. I looked at Ian, the person that was running operations in the manufacturing plant. I looked at him like, dude, I think we made it. That is the absolute truth.
So I think we can blame you for jinxing
totally
this
my
entire
fault.
business.
Totally my fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's
wait, okay. So what's the difference? Like, what is that because I do think you need to get to a place and be like, okay, we're okay here for a minute, right? But what's that indicator that you're now in like this deadly complacency versus, profitable happiness? How do you know that that's where we're at?
Which one do you want us to? Do you want me to start, or
go, Chris? Now I want to hear you.
Yeah, go, Chris. You haven't said much.
So I think that the problem with what we're talking about, and this is the reality, and this is the point that I wanted to get to, is that we as founders, we tend to operate, particularly our first couple of companies, we operate of such a place of fear. And it's so freaking scary. And to your point, Anthony, because we always see a path where there's success on one road and absolute utter failure on the other. And Anthony, we've talked about this. You don't always control which path goes. Sometimes the world tilts and you just end up on the path of failure, and you've done everything right and you end up over there. And so you end up in this place of being entirely scared and worrying about the future, et cetera. The thing that happened to me early on, and again, this is not anything that you two don't know, but just to be very clear, my first couple of business failures sent me into terrible mental health, to depression, to not getting out of bed, to disconnecting from my family and loved ones. And I had connected so much of my ego and self-worth to the success of my company that when that company failed, for nothing I did wrong, right? It just sort of fell apart. I had guilt. It felt terrible. I was, like I said, deeply depressed. It was a dark place. The wisdom is that since that moment, I've tried really, really hard to not put all of my ego and fear and self-worth in whether or not this company that I don't totally control. I know we love agency, right? As founders, we love this belief that we can change the universe, but it's not always true. Sometimes the brakes just beat you, right? And so,
all right, I'm going to challenge you on that, Chris.
To a place of like, oh, I'm good now. It comes from a premise of you didn't start from a place of being well balanced. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't understand this notion that it's okay to be balanced, well balanced as a founder. Like I don't buy into that. And you said something that's kind of revealing, and that is you don't control it. You absolutely don't control your success. You influence it quite a bit, but you don't have ultimate control over whether or not your company makes it. So therefore, if you're comfortable, you're not pushing as hard as you can to influence it. And if your company's survival is the most, it is what you do. Your company's survival, like success to me, I guess I would boil it down to you survive. That's almost the meaning of life for me. It's like survival is the meaning of life.
Well, but it's also true. Every day a company is live, their chances of success goes up, right? Your job as a founder is to keep your company.
Yeah. So if you kind of give it to God, right, and you say, well, it's not in my control, guaranteed failure.
So
guaranteed.
This is the agency problem, right? So you as a person, as a founder, you're an incredibly high agency person. You believe you can shape the universe to your will, but sometimes it breaks. Here's my question. Right now in your life, Stephanie and Anthony, what does success, why do you get out of bed and drive like mad every single morning? Why is that? Why are you so ambitious? Both of you have been successful. Both of you had exits. Both of you have enough money to pay the rent. And you know, Stephanie, you have terrific national health care. And so you don't even need to worry about that, right? Like,
no, not at all. We don't pay taxes for that at all.
What is it that drives you today versus when you started?
Childhood trauma.
Oh. Again, this is going to be.
That was said tongue in cheek, but it is the truest thing
really
said.
Yeah,
that is the truest thing ever said on this podcast.
No, I 100% agree with that. Go ahead, Anthony.
When I was away, I was away partially for an event, and in the event, we had a bunch of like these deep dive episodes into ourselves, and in one part of the event, we were all asked to like go to this side of the room if you're an introvert, and like 99% of the people went over there. I stayed. Go to this side of the room if you are if you suffer from imposter syndrome. 99% of the people go over. I stayed. Go to this side of the room if you have family trauma, drama, blah blah blah. And I stayed because I don't really. And then the guy pulls me over. He's like, you didn't go for any one of them. Do you just not have any challenges? I'm like, oh, no, I do. It's just not those three things. And he says, well, what's the thing that is your biggest challenge? And I said, this drive to perform and succeed. And that comes from childhood, right? Like that comes from being a kid. And that is really, truly at the heart of why I do this, because in a job, I would not have enough opportunity to challenge myself and drive and perform and succeed. And being a founder, it's partially that, and it's partially this desperate need for agency over my time. For I don't do really well with people telling me what to do, and I want to have free reign to be as creative and pursue things if I want to. Like that's just a huge value of mine. So those are the two things that drive me. What about you, Anthony?
Purpose. Purpose is it. Like you have to sometimes you have to manufacture it. The famous Michael Jordan stories where manufacture slights against him during a game in order to motivate himself to get angry. Like anger for him was a big driver and motivator, but anger around purposefully stuffing it in his opponent's faces. And so I think, look, I'm actually in this phase of life right now where I'm struggling with purpose. I'm literally going through this right now. And so everything that I'm doing is done without. I'm doing it because I have to, not because I want to. And
why were you looking at me when you said that, Anthony? Like, I have to do this podcast with Chris. Oh,
don't you wake up every day just in gratitude that you have this podcast?
No.
Aren't we your purpose?
I definitely enjoy the podcast. But every day in gratitude, it's just not where I'm at right now, Steph. I'm struggling with purpose. And it's hard to wake up in the morning and get down to my office and hammer out the things I need to hammer out, because I don't have a 5-year vision for my life right now. And I'm struggling with it. And I know there's people out there that are struggling with the same thing. You know, are there things that I think may be it? Yes, but nothing's materialized yet. So
let's bring this back to the topic, which is around, like, you know, when we get
part of it's because I'm comfortable.
Yeah, right. And so there's a tie in there, and so how do we know when we're in that too comfortable space? Like, what are the indicators to watch for? What happens when we get there? Is it innovation starts to dry up? Is it, you know, that everyone's bored? Do our sales get impacted? Like, really, what are we watching for as founders?
I have too good of relationships with my friends and family. I'm taking way too good of care of myself physically. I'm eating well and exercising.
All those are true for me right now. Well,
yeah. All those are true for
me right now.
Yeah, those are kind of the prime indicators for me.
Yeah, I agree. I've lost weight. I'm working out. Me and my kids. I have great friends. It's like, and I'm completely void of purpose.
So, like, I mean, obviously we're setting a dangerous precedent here.
It's such a fucking illness, though.
Suggesting, it's just,
this is truth, though. I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm being very.
It's patently untrue that we have to be in this, like, abusive relationship type scenario in order to be successful as a founder. It's just not true, because the reason it happens is because I think most founders don't have this awareness yet, right? And so if we're watching for things inside the business that are going to indicate that we have some complacency, I would say it's that sales are starting to flatline and we, are getting less, energy out there in the market or what have you. And when those things start to happen, those should be indicators that we need to do something. But even before that, I think what we're trying to give our founders who are listening are these sort of nuggets of truth, so that they can be aware that when we get to this place that things are feeling less stressful and they are feeling comfortable, that's the time that you need to start now working on the next thing. So take that as a blessing if you believe in blessings, but take that as a like a great, a great milestone, but it's not the time to sit back and not take the next step. So if you can catch that and you can have that awareness, then you start working on what do we do next? If we're in that comfortable place and we want to maintain that, how do we keep the drive going for the next phase? Like, it doesn't have to be we burn everything down. It can very well be that next sort of, it's almost like building another business, right? So what is that next step? Like, how do we invigorate that energy and that, that same drive that got us to this place into the next phase of the business without ruining what we already have?
So what I think I need to do, and honestly, Chris, I think this is part of it, is we need to go to Denver I need to go to Denver founders, right? I need to go hang around other founders. I need to steal the energy from other entrepreneurs. I need to go hug some entrepreneurs.
There are t-shirts, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I've been feeling this void of not talking to enough entrepreneurs and not having fun intellectual conversations about entrepreneurship. Yes, this podcast is part of that, but this is video, and there's something about sitting in the same room with people going through the struggles and people having energy and passion for what they're doing, and you get to pull from that energy, and frankly I miss it. And Chris, we talked about this a little bit this week. It's like, what are we going to do with Denver Founders? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, dude, we've got to get on it. Like, we've got to get people together again.
It does feel like an imperative, doesn't it? It feels like
so what we're getting to is like, what are the things that you as a founder, again, we're back to self-awareness, right? So what are the things as a founder that you need to know about yourself that are going to keep you driving forward?
I think that there's one thing that just we need to call out, which is self-awareness is the answer to this, Stephanie, but like burnout is real. And we as founders don't like to admit that it's real. We don't like to admit that being overly stressed and overly tired, and you get to a place where you lose that core motivation to invent and to create, that comes from burnout. And burnout is not a made up thing. This is a real scientifically proven place where if you don't allow yourself enough space to recover, both mentally and physically, then you will suffer from burnout. There is a cure for burnout, but founders don't like to hear it. The cure for burnout is a vacation. It's to walk away from the business. It's to get some rest. It's to think about something else. Now, founders don't like that because we love our businesses and we're driven, et cetera. But that is very real. And so if you find yourself in a place of burnout, there's a clear answer and you just have to do it. And you have to have friends around you, Anthony.
Disconnect.
Like, hey, go do that. Now, the second piece, Stephanie, is what you're talking about is the complacency piece. So we're not burned out. It's just stagnated, right? It's come to a flat line. And you're still driven, you're still passionate, but you're just struggling to figure out that thing that's next. And Anthony's is the same advice I would give you if we were talking one-on-one, which is start by going back to your why. Why do you do this work? Why do you love this work? Reconnect with your core foundational purpose and go through the exercises. Dr. Brené Brown has a great one. You can download her stuff from her website. Go back to that, right? Start with really trying to reconnect, and then try to reconnect what your why is as associated with your business. I think it's as simple as that, but I don't know. You guys correct me if you think I'm wrong.
No, we always will. Yeah.
Yes, you will.
But I think even before, like I was in complete burnout before I went on this vacation, and to the point where I actually sat there the day we were leaving, and I had finished everything that had to be done that I was handing off. I had cleaned the house, everything, and I had nothing else left to do, but we didn't have to leave for a couple of hours. And I was sitting there just like staring at the wall, and I'm like, I feel like I've just gone through trauma, like some sort of traumatic incident. And I came back, like I didn't touch my laptop. I didn't do any work. I didn't participate in any conversations while I was away. And I came back with this massive resolve to build that balance back into my life, because we just cannot survive that way. We can't. I don't care. And I came out of the .com days where, it was like a badge of honor to be working 7 days a week, 15 hours a day, that sort of thing. I just don't have any desire to do that. I think that comes from experience, and it comes from knowing that you're not saving lives, right? But I still want to come back to like the self-awareness of knowing being able to, it's not even self-awareness, it's being able to recognize that your business is now in this plateau and that it might reach that plateau. And so very purposefully building some sort of invigorating cycle into the business to be able to keep it, keep it moving, keep it growing. Even if you're like, I don't blame founders for getting to that stable place and then going, I'm going to stay here for a minute, right? Because I've just been through this trauma where I'm like scared every night because I don't know that we're going to make payroll. So how can we find a way to like keep that stability, now push forward to the next thing? And I think both those things can be true. Agree?
Yeah, I think you're dead right. I think that the first thing is when you were saying that, I said, surround yourself with people that'll tell you the truth. And Anthony, to your point, a lot of times those are other founders. And like, Anthony, you have said this to me a couple of times in my life, which is like, dude, just stop. Like, get out of your own head. Like, relax, go, you're going to figure it out. It's going to be fine. The problem is like what I call being in the shit. And that's when the stories just keep looping and you're tired and you don't know. And it's just this loop. I've got a friend in the loop right now. And I'm like kind of being a dick, like, because I keep being like, fucking stop, like, get out of your own head. You're better than this. And you know it. And it's maybe not the right approach, but in this moment, I don't want to be surrounded when I'm in that moment of stagnation. I don't want to be surrounded by people that go, it's okay. Right. I want people that are going to challenge me, that are going to push me, that know me as a human and care about me as a human and want me to move to that next plateau. Like want to get me off of that loop.
Stagnation is the opposite of being in the shit, though.
I don't think so. I think it is the exact, like for me, when I say being in the shit, that is in a place where you are stagnant. You're not moving. Like, to me, that's what being in the shit is. I am happy when I'm solving problems. When there's a ton of problems on the plate, that makes me feel good. I feel useful. I feel like I'm moving my business forward. I'm learning all those things. Stagnation is the shit. It is this constant, like, getting up every day feels like Groundhog Day. You don't feel like anything's going. There's no movement. And by the way, it always happens in the middle of the summer for me. I don't know why. It's like the heat in this. Like,
well, is there something also true that maybe there's a dopamine thing here to kind of lean in on what you were saying, Steph, and that is if it's not an urgent problem, I'm uninterested. Like, that's not entirely true for me, but I know that there's a piece of that where it's like, I've found myself doing this in the past where I'll let things go because it's like, I can get to it. I operate way better when I'm under a lot of stress and pressure.
So do I.
Way 100%. Better. So do you manufacture it? Do you let things stack up? How do you trick that in a way that gets you unstuck, or can you?
Or you take a vacation and then things will stack up again.
But it's not about,
or not.
So because this is why, and I'm not even kidding by saying this is why such a major percentage of entrepreneurs are freaking ADHD, like medicated. I am. And I absolutely have that problem. I have a business I'm about to shut down that I've had since 2014. And it's boring as fuck for me. Like, it's boring. There's never any problem. Now, I have not ever been able to get used to the idea that we get paid like this lovely money every year that just comes in because it's a software product and we don't really have to do anything with it, right? Like, and so this money comes in and I feel guilty because I haven't been in crisis around the business. And so I don't know that I'll ever be able to get comfortable with something being, just being steady, because it's not who I am. And I don't like it. To the extent I don't even like to have long-term, coaching clients because I find it boring. Like I want to solve a problem. I want to have some energy. The trap there is falling into crisis all the time. Like I actually don't think that stimulation equals crisis. Stimulation can this is why we've ended up where we are, where we're working with businesses where there's constantly something going on, right? Like there's movement, and I would not be the right person to work with a business that was, just kind of trundling along. So
looking for a 1% improvement over operations for the year. Yeah. Like
it's not. Yeah. Right.
I agree.
And it's like,
which generally means like knowing yourself, Chris, is what you're talking about here. And that is, I know it's time for me to exit a business when that's where the business is, where it's like, we need to put systems and operational infrastructure in place so we can scale methodically and, plot along. Like we need to put 360 reviews in place, and we want to make sure that growth happens at 10% year over year, and we want to go on management retreats. It's like, shoot me in the head. That's not the business I want to be a part of. I want to be part of a business that has the energy and the chaos associated with high growth, with startup, with we need to innovate in this space or die. Like that's the kind of, and so once you take somebody like me and place them in a business where they're like, we just need incremental improvement, I will do more damage than good. And the same is true if you take somebody that is wants to bring operational efficiency into an environment that needs dramatic disruption. That personality is going to move. They're going to move too slow. So knowing yourself is really, really important here. I definitely agree.
Like self-awareness?
I tried that once and it didn't work out very well for me.
So, okay. I got one more question for you guys before we wrap this up, because obviously we could talk about this forever, but where's that tension between protecting what you've built and risking it to stay competitive? Are those two things mutually exclusive? Like, do we need to constantly be battling between protection and being competitive? Chris,
I think that at my worst, I don't say worst because it was my best and worst, I broke my company because I was bored. I was the reason we got to over $1 million, close to $2 million in sales, and I was also the reason we didn't get to 4. I think, Anthony, and this, you and I have talked about this in the past, you have to surround yourself with people that will tell you the truth and be like, dude, go, if you are getting bored here, go advise another startup, go do something else, go find something that you want to learn or deep dive about, or do something different, but don't go screw up your business because you're getting bored with your business in that operational phase. And this is, Anthony, I think this is the hardest part. I think financially it's almost impossible sometimes, but we as founders, we got to know when to step away and to go build the next thing, because there are people that are terrific at taking $1 million to $2 million business and turning it into a $10 million business. Like there are people that are great at that. I don't know that I am. I think I've probably gotten better at it down through the years, but that 0 to 2 to 0 to $5 million in revenue is a superpower. It's incredibly hard. And there are other people that can step in behind that. I don't know. Thoughts?
I think, so for me, I think there's two modes of operating as a founder, and I think you can do both. One is constantly looking for risk burn down. So in other words, reducing risk in the business. You should always be doing that. You need to look at what the most risky thing is that you're doing in the business. And if that's a competitive threat, if that's a product threat, if that's a systems threat, you need to constantly be looking for the most risky thing and making it less risky. You can treat that like you're building a new product, literally. The second is making sure that you have a team so you can do high risk things if not high risk, new things. You can experiment and test as long as it doesn't kill the rest of your business. So for my style of leadership, I'm always trying new stuff. And I'm willing to what I'm willing to risk is looking stupid or looking wrong. That's what I'm willing to risk. And when something's right, I don't take it to the next level. I hand that off to somebody that can take it to the next level. So I view my job as being constantly trying new things and looking stupid and being fine and going, yeah, I was wrong on that. That's the kind of risk that you should be taking as a founder. And then if that's who you are, constantly don't quit that, but make sure you have somebody to hand off something that's working so that they can operationalize it and make it part of the systems in the entire organization.
Why we love EOS and the idea of an integrator. Like there are people out there that are terrific at that job.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree.
I think like that's a superpower for a founder. I do not have the gene that enables me to care what other people think of me. Like I just don't. It's not that I'm like, I love people and I have lots of great friends and I care about my relationships, but I couldn't give a fuck if you like judge me for trying something out or taking, an idea or whatever. I'm going to try it. Like that does not hold me back. And I think that true founders who thrive in that early stage also are not held back by that.
It also explains why you don't mind hurting my feelings.
You're feeling, Anthony, remember.
One feeling.
Well,
you want to get together and
now I have multiple feelings now.
Oh, no. Really? You've been growing. I'm so proud of you.
I've grown. I've grown a feeling.
You're putting yourself at risk. You know that. Okay, guys.
You know that I have man feelings, and they're bigger and more complicated. Very complicated man feelings.
We're going to do a speed round, and you're both going to answer the questions, and then you're going to go to your therapy sessions after we're done.
I just need a hug.
Emotional, damn it.
I figured out a way to unmute my mic and talk over the rollover. So
can we figure out the setting to disallow that?
I'm going to sing along to our intro next time. Okay, speed round, dummies. Let's go. Comfortable founder or hungry founder, which survives the next downturn?
Hungry.
Your team wants predictability, kill innovation, or keep them happy?
Wait, that's a false choice. Kill innovation to keep them happy. No, you do not kill innovation.
These, just so you know.
Yeah.
I think long term you probably want to keep your team happy.
What I did is not read it properly. Kill innovation to keep them happy.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like, wait, that doesn't make sense. I think you cannot kill innovation. And this is a topic for a whole nother podcast, but there is something to be said about caring so much about your employee happiness that they don't ever do anything to move the company forward.
I would argue too that in my experience, the team doesn't necessarily want predictability, especially if you've hired into a startup. What they want is a feeling like there's a plan and a vision, and that they know what their contribution is.
Yep, autonomy and accountability. Yep,
exactly.
Towards a vision.
Ownership.
Yep.
Yep. What percentage of mid-sized failures stem from comfort, not competition? It's not a yes or no
percentage. 73%.
73%.
There's only one person listening that gets that joke, but yes, 73%. I'll
73 is 73% is always the
answer. Slash profitable divisions to fund risky bets. Agree?
No,
absolutely not.
Never.
Right. Yeah.
If cash flow is healthy but growth is flat, pivot or double down?
It depends.
Pivot. I mean,
no, it depends.
So if cash flow is healthy, that's terrific, but growth is everything, and you have to continue to grow.
Growth is not everything. I used to believe if you're not growing, you're shrinking. I no longer believe that. I think
in the pool.
That's
Sorry?
an episode for that's
that
a
was
different
just in the
conversation.
pool, the cold pool. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think growth is the end all be all. I think revenue growth, focusing on growth more than quality is going to give you neither.
Can I mean, I still like, I understand we're out of time. Put this down for a different argument for a different day, Anthony, because I would love to argue the point, but I know we're running out of time.
Well, I think the thing here is like the two options are not stay the course or trash everything. Like there's third and fourth options there too, right? Which we can talk about. Okay, founder fundamentals. Chris, what do you got?
A ton of things. Number one is I like to cha-cha. Apparently, that was number one. You don't
like a sissy girl. Say it all.
You don't 100% control your success. What drives each of us as founders are different. Founders are high agency people. Energy comes from being around other founders. If you're struggling, go hang out with other founders. And also, I need to reboot Denver Founders. Reconnect with your why and connect with the why to your business. Surround yourself with people that'll tell you the truth. Building and disruption are founders' superpowers. Understand that that's your superpower. Don't let boredom ruin your company, and build a team that can execute your core business while you're able to rely on new stuff. Now, Stephanie, the main founder fundamental here is self-awareness. And I pulled up on ChatGPT, and I want to read this because I think it's important, which is a 2015 study. Entrepreneurs were significantly more likely than non-entrepreneurs to report a lifetime history of depression, 30% more likely, ADHD, 29% likely, substance and use conditions, 12% more likely, bipolar, 11%. Overall, 49% reported at least one lifetime condition, and 72% were directly or indirectly affected by mental health disorders. The point there being is correlation, causation, probably correlation, but the point is the self-awareness is the answer for that, right? You have to understand when you're putting yourself into a position to create your own negative health, mental health. And when you reach that own negative mental health, you're not doing yourself or your company any good. So I think it comes down to this idea of self-awareness, Stephanie, and Anthony, to your point, surrounding yourself with people that care about you, that are other founders, and saying, hey, you need to step away. You need to
make a friend.
Yeah. You should work on that, Anthony, as well.
I think the last founder fundamental was that Anthony needs therapy and a hug.
The big virtual hug. I hug you.
What's the difference?
Every time I see you, Anthony.
There is no difference. Therapy and a hug, they're the same.
I don't know. Sometimes
one way. In one way, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the way you haven't been hugged by Chris. I have. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I lift
the ass grab that really does it.
My hugs are like this.
Are you the no touch hug? Are you the side like?
Depends who you are.
That doesn't work with me, Stephanie. Anthony, I come up, I pick him up, bear hug, man. That's what I do.
All right. Okay, we got a couple deep dive resources for you. Only the Paranoid Survive by Andrew Grove, and The Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen. That's a good one. Good discussion, you guys, today. Let's keep this conversation going. We joke a lot, but also what Chris is talking about is actually really real. Having lived through the .com days and seen some pretty serious stuff happen as a result of founders getting into this, this mental health crisis, it's a thing. It's real. So let's take it seriously, but also, be aware of ourselves and be aware of how we can, continue to be healthy, positive, well-aligned founders that look at everything with a thoughtful intention. So we are so grateful that you were here. Thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to visit us on howtofounder.com, where you connect with us on LinkedIn and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify channels. And remember, Chris, you are the pioneer of economic prosperity, and we're so grateful for having you with us along the way on our show.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
hungrier, hungrier.